What is going on, everybody? Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to the Mindset Mastery call for Mi5. We are so excited. We have a really fun episode tonight. For those that have been joining us for the last couple of weeks, we are very, very happy to see some familiar faces on. I see 6 people in here. We got some people in the chat. I just want to say good evening, happy Thursday, and grand rising. We've got some really cool and special things for you guys tonight. We've got Andrew Golden, who, for those who know, Andrew is one of our biggest and most baddest contributors to the Mi5 movement. He has been with us since the get-go, since the inception. So we're super amped to have him featured here tonight and to have you guys get to hear some amazing words of wisdom. But before we get into Andrew, let's start by going into the Mi5 vision. And that's how we're going to start every week during this Mindset Mastery call, because we want you guys to understand what is Mi5, right? We don't really have the opportunity to go over that in our other show, the Mi5 show, which has been going down on Tuesday evenings, because that's more so featuring a guest. That's our podcast. Here on the Mindset Mastery calls on Thursday evenings, we are going to go deeper into the vision behind Mi5, what Mi5 is, what we stand for, so that you guys can understand what the Mi5 movement is, especially some of our new viewers and some people that have reached out to us and have been like, what the heck is Mi5? Well, we're here to tell you about that tonight. And we're here to kind of lay the groundwork to show you the importance of mindset and how that ties into Mi5. So I'm going to pull up here on our screen Mi5's vision and mission statement verbatim to be able to share with you guys a little bit more. Andrew, if you don't mind pulling it up for me, bro, that'd be greatly appreciated. And we'll dive into the high level overview of what Mi5 is. So I'm going to read this verbatim, guys, and then I'm going to go deeper into it. Mi5 aims to help others create a map to self-mastery through mindset, utilizing modeling and multiple streams of income to manifest one's ideal life. The mission of the organization is to help individuals achieve wealth so that they can live a life that they love. We believe through doing this, we will help people unlock their inner potential so they can make a positive impact on humanity. We are a platform to educate and provide people passive income that will lead to financial independence and freedom of time. Millionaire Mi5 means millionaire in 5 years. We provide a roadmap to create, grow, and sustain wealth. You can take that on down for me, Andrew. I'm going to dive deeper into that. That is the fancy words. That is the high-level overview in a nutshell. But how do we do what I just explained? And what is it all about, right? So Mi5 started last year in April of 2022. At the beginning, it was just, we didn't even really know what it was. We were just a group of people, a group of individuals. It was myself and about 15 other people. We got Andrew being one of those people, Eric Melissa, who's one of those people. We got Chuck, we've got Brandon Osborne, we've got Em, we got Teresa. We've had lots of people. We all collected together for 2, 3, 4 hours a night for 2, 3, 4 nights a week. And one thing that was common amongst every single member of that original mastermind that we put together last April was that we all had a strong burning desire within our souls to, number one, make a positive impact on humanity, make a positive impact on others. We put others before ourselves. We demonstrated servant leadership style approach. We demonstrated that mindset of not having an ego, not being led by greed, but being led with love and compassion. And that's why we do what we do, right? And that was the common goal. We kind of evolved this into, well, we all have this burning desire to help people. How can we accomplish that? We had all been in the space of, the industry, whether it was network marketing, where 95% of the people fail and get left behind, or whether it was crypto projects, NFTs, DeFi, trading, Forex, you name it. We had a whole bunch of realms that we lived in, e-commerce, real estate. And we knew that there was a lot of information out there. However, we also all knew that we had gone through so many years, some of us decades of years of exposure to this information, and recognized 99% of it was garbage. And that everything that we came across, there was so much garbage out there. It was very hard to find the true, genuine substance within the great world of potential, especially we all know within the last 5, 6, 7 years here, the smartphones have exploded astronomically in terms of the ability to have access to information and technologies and things that we've never had before. So we, as a group, recognized that we did have some gems, but 99% of it was garbage. So we sought out to teach people and educate people on how to have access to the gems. And we leveraged our 8, 9, 10-figure mentors that we all had. We all had people that were far more successful than we were. We had people that were far more deeper pocket than we were. And we had people that taught us through their success what they did and how they've created the wealth that they've created. So we introduced mentor to mentor. We introduced, my mentors to Andrew's mentors, to Eric's mentors, to, we all introduced mentors. We all met and we realized when people connect with people, magic happens. And that's where the vision comes for MI5. And it all starts with mindset. So understand, guys, the biggest asset that you can have in the world is mindset. If you don't have your mindset straight, nothing else matters. And the reason why we do a weekly mindset mastery call is because here we are trying to highlight and showcase how important mindset is for the journey. Because if you do not have the mindset, then you cannot sustain, grow, or build the life that you wish to build. And the reason you can't is because everyone's heard the story of the person that's won $100 million in the lottery and 3 years later they're broke. Or everyone's heard the story of the celebrity who has everything that they want. They're rich, they've got the houses, they've got the fame, they've got the fortune, but they have a drug problem, or they have, even worse, end up in a suicide, right? The mindset was the important element that was missing. Even those two scenarios seem as though it would be an ideal scenario for people, right? So this is why mindset is so important. A lot of times, mindset is what's getting in your way of achieving the success that you wish to achieve. Whether it's limiting beliefs, whether it's the way you think, your thought process, how your energy is, how your frequency, how is your vibration, and all of these things have to be in sync, and it all starts with mindset. So we highlight on the show mindset. Now, I told you guys I was going to tell you what MI5 is, right? We start with mindset. From there, we build education, we inform, we teach. How do you navigate this world of so many new emerging things, DeFi, Web3, financial markets, etc. How do you navigate e-commerce, right? We teach and educate the e-commerce. And ultimately, that leads to the individual achieving multiple streams of income from multiple sources. We have a funding brokerage, Grand Rising Financial. If you guys haven't checked that out, go check it out. We offer financing, literally liquidity infusion with our funding brokerage, so that we can put the funds and other people's money to work. And we also, after you acquire funds through funding brokerage, we also allow you to and show you ways that you can plug those funds to work. No, we don't have a company or a system or a program that you can sign up through us. No, we just show you places, right? Oh, little good e-commerce place over there. Here's some YouTube automation. Here's a tractor trailer trucking. We have these things that we can show you, we can expose to you. So no, this isn't some weird MLM gimmicky scheme thingy-majig where we're going to have you trying to sign up. No, this is a mindset mastery call where we're going to teach you the mindset that you need to be successful, to create those multiple streams of income and ultimately free yourself from a financial and time standpoint, which is the ultimate freedom above all else. Being a job-free entrepreneur and stepping into that at the end of the year last year, it's been one of the biggest accomplishments and blessings of my life that I've always desired. And Andrew's accomplished that, and Eric's accomplished that, and our leaders have accomplished that. And a lot of people within our community have had that success to be able to create that lifestyle, because that lifestyle starts with mindset and then it transitions into planning. So without further ado, guys, that's MI5 in a nutshell. How do you find out more about MI5? How do you get involved? $0.00 today, $0.00 tomorrow. You can go to Telegram and join us at the Mi5 movement. The link's right down at the bottom of the screen here. We also will post it in the video comments so that you guys can join Mi5. Because all it is a community of people chatting it up on a Telegram chat. That's it for right now. We may turn it into an app later on this year. We've got some big plans. But it is just positivity. It's just people. It's honestly just an amazing community of people that are looking to up-level themselves. And it all starts with mindset. So tonight, Mr. Andrew Golden, I'm going to transition into introducing our special guest. The Mindset Mastery is about highlighting that special guest because they're going to give a let's say TED Talk style talk, a keynote speaking session, right? On mindset. And we're going to focus on different elements of different individuals and how it led to their success and how it's led to their journey being the way that their journey has turned out. So Andrew's had an amazing journey. I've had the pleasure of watching this journey for the last year, and then some, actually a little bit longer than a year. Pretty crazy. We've known each other for slightly longer. And he is going to be setting the world on fire in 2023 as he emerges out into his speaking career. Andrew is being trained by multiple coaches and has received various mentorships on speaking. Andrew is a core member of Mi5. He is a giant co-owner of Grand Rising Financial, and he does so many great things behind the scenes for us. Him and I are headed on a plane within the next few hours to Puerto Rico. Super amped to be spending the weekend with him. He's heading out right after this show. I'm heading out tomorrow morning. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Andrew Golden tonight on the Mi5 show.
Guys, it is a pleasure to be here. I want to wish everyone a happy Thursday. And, I'm not only happy to be here once again, because, I've literally been on every single Mi5 live stream that we've done so far. But as you can see, tonight I am dressed for success. Man, I am built for success. Hold on. Man, I even smell like success. We out here, man. So, like Brian said, I'm out here going to Puerto Rico right after this call. And what's crazy is that that's going to be my second time seeing Brian in person ever. I've met this man once in real life. That is so crazy when you think about and see all the different stuff that we've done. This show wouldn't be, streaming right now if it weren't for the different things, the inception of Mi5 and this series of events that has gone down in chronological order since the day that we met. And it's been the kind of inkling of a long-lasting friendship that will last literally a lifetime. Not only Brian, but with everyone else in the Mi5 core, Mi5 group, the Grand Rising Financial team. Shout out Trey. All those people were literally doing something that we're responsible for making change, and that's something special. Is when you have responsibility, when you have a great responsibility, you have a lot of power. I'm going to switch it up on Uncle Ben. He's like, with great power comes great responsibility, but no, with great responsibility comes great power. And, I believe as the change makers that we are, that we do have that responsibility, and I want to capitalize on that. But, it's crazy what you can do just by having that face-to-face connection through Zoom, talking on the phone, sharing stuff on social media, just constant talking to each other. And, it's everyone can do that. Most of my friends that I talk to, everyone that I talk to on a regular basis is online now. I have plenty of friends in person. I know people in this area. I network all the time, but the people that I talk to on a daily basis, there's 5 people that I talk to all the time. I've met either once or never, and that's crazy to me. It's just, you can literally create something so wild simply through an internet connection and a device. And, that's really something that a lot of people kind of miss out on. But, today I'm here to talk about that mystical word, that word mindset. That's become such a platitude over time, but, I'm going to kind of give a high level overview of my story. But this journey of me becoming a job-free entrepreneur, it has spanned over the last 3 years, actually, primarily over the last 2, but 3 years is when it really started. Actually kind of 4, but, really the first year, 2021 or 2020 even, was when I started reading books. That was when I first made $400 on Bitcoin. I was like, yo, that's crazy. My friend called me and he was like, dude, check your Bitcoin account. And I was like, okay. I put $1,000 in there one night and just kind of forgot about it because that's what somebody told me to do. And he calls me another morning, and Bitcoin went up $10,000. And I was freaking out because I didn't even know that was possible. I'd never invested before in my life, nothing like that. So that's when I got into stocks, crypto. I became just learning about all this stuff because I was like, yo, this is crazy. I actually saw this make me money overnight. And that is a special day for everyone. So, and then 2021 was when I really was nailing down the consistency. I started doing network marketing. I started trading. I started trading on those crypto markets, where I was like, oh, I can make money like in a lot of different ways with this stuff. There's so many different avenues you can take when you get introduced to the world of financial trading. There's options, binary, binary options, and leverage trading. There's so many different things, right? And that was when I started to realize that if you want to win consistently, you have to be consistently consistent with those habits that create who you are. And it was a huge year of self-discovery, just because I had like a lot of mentors that were able to kind of like guide me down this accelerated path that I'm on. And then 2022 was laying down that foundation for a truly insane definition of the millionaire mindset, like waking up at 5 a.m., like finding a morning routine, that nightly ritual, and like just cutting out the toxic people and like just the toxic behaviors, especially because I mean, you're hearing my story. Like I was not the person that I am today 4 years ago. It's completely different. And like, duh, like everyone's that way, but it's just an insane 180 that went down. And 2023 is going to be the foundation for the billionaire mindset, because oh my God, the stuff that we like have kind of like, we unwrapped the Christmas presents in 2022, and not just on Christmas Day, like literally it seemed like Brian was coming to me with better and better news every single day. It was just crazy. And my mind started to open. I started to have this expansion of perspective and what could actually happen to me, because I reached a point in 2022 where instead of asking myself, what am I capable of? Like, what's my potential? I started to realize that potential is really just like a kind of a block in your mind. It's just like a limiting belief that you kind of set yourself, because everyone says like, oh, like you're the only person holding you back from your own success, right? The question was no longer what am I capable of, but how big is my imagination? Because it's more of like, what can I think about that I can become? Like what can I do? And then like you just go do it. And obviously it's not as easy as just doing it. It's mostly about the attitude that you take in the thinking. But that's a whole another hour-long talk. So like I said, I'm going to give you a high-level overview of my story. But why am I, this 21-year-old, so credible to even stand up here and give you advice? How am I credible to give anyone advice about success? Like, I'm literally just this 21-year-old guy. Like, I'm wearing a suit. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm talking about, like a millionaire mindset, all of that. And I just want to preface with this idea that age is simply just a concept of time that was created by humans to determine how long you've been on Earth, right? That's literally all it is. Because real age is your maturity. Real age is your emotional maturity, your intelligence, the experiences that you've gone through. Because you could live till 40 and not be wise at all, because you've just like haven't put yourself out there enough. It's really like, you can teach people knowledge all day long. You could just drill it into people, but they're not going to truly learn it until they have the experiences. They're not going to learn struggle until they go through struggle, because wisdom can't be taught. It must be lived through, right? And so I just want to like say that before I go through my story, because what I'm about to tell you led me up to this moment where I'm job free. I'm doing MI5. I'm doing GRF. Like, it's not just about like, oh yeah, I'm doing this stuff. I watched a couple YouTube videos. Now I'm here. Like, there was a lot in that 4 years that just went down, and I put myself through a lot of really difficult things. And difficult meaning I had to pull myself out of a lot of holes. So the first half of my life, I was very suppressed, very, there's a couple of reasons. I was in a religion that was very restrictive. I had an abusive father, and it was just not an environment for excellence to thrive in, and it was really difficult, because since I was the oldest kid, I'm the oldest out of 6 kids. Actually, I'm the oldest out of 4 kids at this time, because I have a joint family, and there's 6 kids now, but there was 4 kids when I was growing up. I've always been the oldest though. And because I was the oldest kid in my family, always, my dad had this expectation that I was just supposed to know how to do things and like not mess up. But kids are stupid, bro. Like we're just like dumb. Like we don't really know what to do. We're just kind of like going through, or like, I don't know, like this. I want to go outside and play. Or like now it's like you just play on your video games and stuff, which that's fine, I guess. But so, I received a lot of the backlash for not knowing what to do and being ignorant, and it just made me not want to express myself. I didn't want to talk. I didn't want to, be who I actually was, because I was afraid that I was going to be like incur consequences on myself for just being who I am. And asking questions. I didn't feel like I had such a phobia of asking questions for so long, because if I did, it would just mean like I was going to get called stupid or bullied by my own father, right? And so that is not going to be healthy for anybody. And the chances that I actually made it out of that to be successful is crazy. It's actually not crazy, but it just really took a lot of, a diamond is literally just a piece of coal under pressure, and it took a lot of that. It took a lot of pressure. So, after that, when I was a teenager, right, I started to find an outlet. I started to find a way to be myself, and this is after, my father wasn't in my life anymore. My mom was fed up, and so I started to find an outlet of drugs, partying, alcohol, the whole deal. And I'm not going to go into it, but the only thing that I didn't do was heroin. And I was deep in this hole. I was deep, and I did not see a way out for the longest time, because I didn't want to find a way out, quite honestly. So, hold on, all right. Well, anyways, yeah. So I just didn't want to find a way out. And, one day I'm sitting at a park, and it's the same park that we always do stuff at, sitting with the same friends, talking about the same stuff. And I have this realization. I started to have this idea of like, where's this going? Like what really happens after this? And like, what am I going to do with my life? Like everyone has that question at some point. And I started to have this vision of myself growing into this gray-haired old drug addict. And I knew that if I didn't stop, I was going to be overdosed in the street, no hope, no place to live, and just miserable. Probably die in the street, literally. That's the kind of stuff I was getting myself involved in. And it was scary. I freaked myself out. I was frightened into actually taking a complete 180 on my life. It took some time for me to like be like, oh yeah, I'm going to do it. But like it was such a turning point. And that was the first step, right? Was realizing, oh my God, like this is crazy. I'm not going to make it if I do this. And this is kind of where I'm going to like kind of skip forward a lot, but the first thing I started to do was read. Found the power of books. Reading, watching certain YouTubers, and being able to actually like see people that were being successful and just do what they were doing, because they were also giving me mentorship. A lot of my first mentors, actually all my first mentors, do not know I exist, because they were the YouTubers that were giving me just straight sauce, just dishing it out on YouTube, telling me what books to read. And I would do it because I was like, dude, I want to, like I want things in my life to change, or I want my life to change, right? So I have to change things in my life. I have to do things differently than I have before. And I don't know, I don't have an example to do that in my physical life, right? And so I was reaching out to the internet, and thank God, we live in this age of the internet with information overload, like kind of what Brian was saying. And there is some good stuff out there for real. And shortly after that, I started journaling and meditating. I had a clear head. I had, and most importantly, I had a sense of direction. I was feeling empowered because I now saw people that were doing and becoming anything they wanted to do and become. And I was like, dude, I want to do that. Well, where do I start? I want to be a millionaire. That sounds cool. Like let's do that. And so, I did a bunch of different side hustles, all these different things. And, I found, I did like e-commerce stores. I tried to sell payment processors, like merchant services. And, I was doing like full Gary V on Facebook flipping, and none of that stuff made me feel passionate. I didn't have a passion for any of that. So when I found trading, it was insane. I like knew that this was going to be my jam. And I had some success in the very beginning through literally gambling, and then I lost it all. And, I was able to see very quickly the risk and the volatility through, what that the markets actually carry. And I made a vow, I made a commitment in my journal. I'm going to do whatever it takes. I'm going to do whatever it takes to use this as my vehicle to financial freedom, because I want to turn my phone into an ATM like all these guys on, shout out I Am Academy. You know, all these guys on I Am Academy are talking about. And the next 6 months after I made that commitment was when a lot of stuff happened. It just everything changed. You know, I went on to sign up almost 200 people for this network marketing company. I was learning and teaching trading constantly, only looking at material that would help me progress in this, you know, this goal. And I was so successful that I was actually able to quit my job. But when I quit my job, I was just making money. That wasn't like, you know, actually a job for the entrepreneur. I was just like, hey, dude, I'm making $2,000 a month. It's time to quit. Peace out. And it was awesome. But that only lasted for 6 months because I just was, like I said, I was just making money and I didn't have that momentum. And at the time, I started to see myself losing a really big piece of who I am. And, you know, that was, you know, my creative passions. You know, I wasn't doing anything that actually fulfilled me. And I have a lot of that kind of stuff. I have a lot of that creative energy inside of me, and I was just completely neglecting it. And that made me uncomfortable because I didn't want to be that billionaire with 10 Rolls Royces, but zero fulfillment in life. And so took a step back, decided to get another job. And that's really when my value of finding that harmony between creativity and productivity was instilled within me. Um, and so, you know, a lot of stuff happened after that. You know, I got my job. I never saw it as a failure that I had to get another job. I was just like, you know what? I found another way that being a job free entrepreneur isn't going to work and I have to do things different. And so, you know, I was like, I'm going to use this W-2 income to support myself while I develop that mindset and, you know, the routines that is required to do such a thing. And, you know, fast forward to now, you know, that's this. So we're gonna skip the whole Mi5 story, but basically, I met Brian. You know, we started trading together. It was amazing. We saw the way out to financial freedom. We got really good, and then Mi5 happened, GRF happened. You know, Grand Rising Financial, and you know, fast forward to today, I'm job free. I'm 4 years drug free, and I'm just continuing to just go into any kind of any avenue that I want to go to. Now, before becoming the job free entrepreneur that I am today, I had to go through a tremendous amount of self-discovery and transformation as a human on this beautiful and fruitful yet sometimes unforgiving earth. However, I never chose to see it as unforgiving because after putting myself through the experiences that I did, I realized that they were exactly that. Experiences that I had put myself through. I put myself through all of that and I made it out. But, you know, when you finally accept the reality that when bad things happen to you, even if it's not your fault, like even if you didn't do it, if someone crashed into your car, like that's not your fault, but you're responsible to take care of it, right? You know, realizing that it's your responsibility to solve your problems and manage your emotions, everything just gets easier. Everything gets so much easier and you start to just release all of this tension that you had before. And that's when you can really start to enjoy life because you're not so caught up in the resentment that they did this to you, right? Well, I hate to break it to you, but they don't care how you feel. And you're the only person that is going to be able to make that situation different no matter what happens. Even if you have people in your life to make the physical world better, you are still the only one who can change your attitude to whatever situation is you're going through. And that's what makes the difference. Let me ask you a question, okay? Is it okay for a baby to cry when they're uncomfortable? When they cry because they're hungry or in pain? Yes, right? I mean, obviously, because you're going to be that warm hand that to them just magically comes out of nowhere and brings them milk and tucks them in or whatever, or puts them in their arms and is like, oh, it's going to be okay. Like, baby, it's okay. Right. It's okay because they're a baby. They can't talk. They can't move. They can't fix the discomfort themselves because no matter how much money the mother and father would put on the table to see that happen, the point is that all they have to do is they need to express dissatisfaction or discomfort, and all their problems are solved because there's going to be someone there to take care of it. And what's really funny is that some people grow up not ever learning that that's not how it works in the real world of adult life, right? They go about expressing their grievances in hopes that literally life itself will take pity on them and that someone will just rush in to solve their problems. And to the adults that still get that same treatment, my condolences go out to you, because God, what a miserable life that must be. You see, so many people in today's society get hung up on the idea of like how to be happy, how to stop being sad all the time, when really the mindset couldn't be farther from what the goal really is here. It's really about the mindset that you adopt towards your goals and dreams in your life. See, there's that magical word again, mindset. Mindset. Oh my God, you have to have a mindset of positivity, the mindset of abundance, the millionaire mindset. You have to have this amazing mindset to just like crush your goals, right? Well, what does that even mean? Like, that people say that word so much that it becomes completely meaningless. Like, literally, it just means so much at this point. You know, positivity, abundance. Like, there's just it encircles so many different ideas. And I know that we aren't really fixing that situation doing this mastery mindset call, right? But I also would argue that we're not making it worse, because at MI5, we preface that being a millionaire means so much more than having a 7-figure net worth. And we might be the first to help you realize that being a millionaire is actually a level of character, which means that you need to become the person that can not only obtain millions of dollars, but maintain those millions, right? Hold on, I'm going to move something really quick. Yeah, but maintain those millions. You can't just like be a millionaire and then keep it all most of the time, right? And just like Brian said in the beginning, the lottery winner that receives a cash injection of $10 million and then is dead broke not more than a year later, right? But what does mindset even mean? Well, I'm going to share one definition with you tonight, and I want you to decide if you also agree on this. A mindset is when you set your mind to the frequency that is required to achieve your goals. Okay? And that comes from the legendary Bob Proctor. May he rest in peace. But tell me if you agree, because I think he had it absolutely spot on. Like, that is fire. A mindset is when you set your mind to the frequency that is required to achieve your goals. That is so like good. Like, it's when you set your mind to the frequency, right? It's all about the frequency. But he literally says it. Like, the question becomes like, where do you start? He said it right there. It's when you set your mind to the frequency that's required to achieve your goal. Your goal is where you start. You need to figure out what your goal is first. And I know that the word goal can make people feel a little queasy. So what you really want to figure out is, what is your project going to be? Because, like, you know, all of a sudden when you start thinking about projects, the gears start turning a little bit more, right? You know, projects, you're like, oh, I can do this, I can do this, I can do that. You know, it's not like this like giant goal, because instead of thinking like, oh my God, dude, like the goal of being a millionaire, it's huge. Like, how do you do that? Like, dude, $1 million, that's crazy. And then you start looking at the number 1 million, and you practically faint because of the thought of having 2 commas in your bank account. It's just so huge. And you give yourself analysis paralysis just at the sight of seeing such a large number, right? And it's just like, you're thinking about it, and you're cutting yourself off from that goal at all, because it's just the thoughts that you're having are so negative about being a millionaire. And for a lot of people, they get bad feelings when they think about these huge goals, because becoming a millionaire, you know, what they don't know about this key concept. The concept that your energy must match the goals that you have, right? You need to raise your energy to the level that is required to obtain $1 million. See, there's a huge difference in the energy between making $50K a year and $500,000 a year. You know, $50,000 a year versus $500,000 a year. Those are 2 completely different people. Literally completely different, live completely different lifestyles, not just because of the house that they live in or the car that they drive. They have, their habits are different, they speak different, they present themselves differently. It's all different. And then even the difference between making $50,000 a month and $500,000 a month. You see, now we're talking about the difference between a millionaire mindset and a billionaire mindset. $50,000 a month and 500 a month, you're talking like, the guy on Instagram selling the course versus Warren Buffett, two completely different lifestyles. Now, once you know what your project or goal is and what you've determined and you've determined that you can match that energy, the only logical thing to really do after that is to start figuring out what you need to do piece by piece, figuring out what are the action steps. Once you have your thinking right, it's really about like, what are you going to do? You can't just sit all there all day and meditate like, my goals are going to come to me. Like, you can't do that. As awesome as that would be, I would already be a billionaire, right? I could do that all day. Everyone can. That's why, being a billionaire is special. It takes a lot of actions. But just first, before thinking about being a millionaire, like, that's fine if you have that goal. And I have that goal. And Brian has that goal. We all have that goal here, right? But instead of thinking about what you need to, that you need to be a millionaire, think about all the different steps that you have to take along the way. You're hopefully by being a millionaire, you're going to accomplish a bunch of different things, right? So instead of thinking just straight up about the 7-figure number, start thinking about 50,000, 100,000, 250,000, 500,000. You're going to be hitting all of these regardless. So make it something that you feel good about, right? Like, don't think if you can't feel good about making $1 million, feel good about making $50,000. That's way better, because then you're feeling good. Then you feel motivated instead of being like crushed by this giant number, in your head at the sight of 2 commas, right? Like, it's not that crazy. And at MI5, we have this saying that we use a lot: progress, not perfection. I'm going to say it again. Write it down. If you've never heard this before, write it down. Get a piece of paper right now. It's progress, not perfection, because perfection really isn't real. No matter how hard you work, the work is really never done, because no matter how far you get and how big the number in your bank account is, as soon as you stop and as soon as you kick your feet back for a little too long, you stop growing. And if you're not growing, you're dying. If you're not moving forward, you're moving backwards. It's just like life is like being on one of those, I'm going to the airport, right? Life is like being on one of those moving sidewalks at the airport, right? If you stand still, you move backwards. If you go slowly, you stay in the same place. If you want to move forward, you have to hustle. You got to run. You got to freaking sprint to the end. If you want to actually get to the end and get to the finish line, you have to have an unbalanced life. People talk about having a balanced life. Like, if you really want to do the things that are like huge goals, you gotta freaking be obsessed with what you're doing. Just plain and simple. Now I want to introduce a concept to you, right? Success is a lot like riding a bike. And I'm not talking about, like when you're, because you always know how to do it, right? Like, you just pick it up and you can instantly do it. That's not what I'm talking about. It's like when you're pedaling, you're moving forward and, it feels good. You got the wind in your hair, unless you're Eric, then you just feel the wind, right? Love you, Eric. You've got that balance. You're going somewhere. People in success are just like that. And as soon as you stop, what starts to happen? You start wobbling and you lose that security of the equilibrium. And one of two things happens. You either crash or you stop and now you're not going anywhere. And you're like, oh man, what the heck happened, right? Well, now I want you to think about your own life experiences and forget about the bike. It's really just a concept to help people understand something simple. In your life, whenever you had a goal, you were happy, right? You had something to get out of bed for and you wanted to make stuff happen. And then as soon as you achieve it, what happens? You got the big win. You ran the big race. Now you're not so thrilled to wake up and run 3 miles like you were just a couple days ago. That literally happened to me recently. And I'm still kind of dealing with the consequences of my own like attitude towards this. I ran a 10K and a 5K. And after that race, I didn't run for 2 weeks. After I had finished, my thing, I did the race, it was my first race ever. I didn't run for 2 weeks. And since that race in November, I haven't ran over 1 mile since then. I haven't gone over 3 miles. That's on my freaking goal thing because I've been beating myself up about it. Low key, it's like, dude, I've been like wimping out on running farther when I literally just ran 7 miles literally because Spartan Race doesn't know how to measure. They like made it extra long for yeah. But anyways, I know that I can run farther, right? But I haven't done that. I've been, I'm not gonna swear on here, but I've been wussing out, right? And humans have this thing. We have this thing inside of us called our built-in goal striving mechanism. And when we start to flip that switch and we start working towards something and seeking the next challenge, and we start working towards that goal, we start to, every single day, what am I going to do? What am I going to take? What step am I going to take today to move forward on my goal of getting $50,000 so that I can use that as motivation to become a millionaire? Right? When you do that, happiness is the byproduct. That's why you should never think about happiness as like your ultimate goal, because that will just be the byproduct of you working towards something that is fulfilling. It's literally, your happiness is literally completely dependent on if you're working towards a fulfilling goal every single day. And when we don't have projects that we're working on, or we stop making progress towards the one that we were working on, all of a sudden we aren't as happy, and life just becomes a little bit more meaningless. And, it's just, that's just the way that it is. It just stops to be as fulfilling. It's not as magical. You got to always be moving. Like I said, the moving sidewalk, if you're not moving, you're going backwards, and that doesn't feel good. And our subconscious knows that, and it tells us that it doesn't feel good by us feel like depressed, or that we want to be comfortable and watch TV and stuff, because we need something that makes us feel good. We need that dopamine, and the whole dopamine talk is a whole other thing, but that's really what drives us to do anything, just so you know. Now, and just like Brian said, actually, I don't think he talked about this. I'm sure everyone has heard about the stories of, the old man. He has a very successful career, and then he goes to retire, right? And once he retires, he gets depressed. He's just kind of chilling on the couch. He's on the porch sipping his Arnold Palmer, every day, not doing anything all day. Starts to get dementia, some people, and they get this depression, and at some point, that's when they start to go, like, dude, why am I even doing this anymore? Like, what's the point? And sometimes they go a step further, but I'm not even going to talk about that, because you get the point. You know where I'm going with this, right? Now, I'm about to come to a close here in a couple minutes, but I want to share this story with you first. There was a man about 10 years ago who had a pretty good life. He's living the dream, right? He had a beautiful wife, beautiful kids, good job, just living it up, doing his thing. One day, his wife, and this is a true story, by the way, his wife, his son, his daughter, and his brother all died in a fatal car accident. Drove off a cliff, never seen him again. They're all dead. This man was crushed, right? Anyone would be crushed. This is devastating. Everyone in his life that he loved was now gone. And he couldn't help but think, like, is there anything even worth living for anymore? Like, everyone that I love, any source of happiness that I was getting before is just gone. It's dissipated. So, naturally, someone tells him, you need to go to a therapist if you're feeling this way. So he goes to his therapist, in just desperation for any shred of hope, looking for answers, just looking for hope in a situation that seemed extremely hopeless, honestly. And he goes there and he asks his therapist this question. He goes, "Doctor, my wife, my son, my daughter, and my brother were all taken away from me at once. Will I ever be happy again?" And his therapist, takes a deep breath, takes a moment, and starts to think about what she's going to say. Because, really, think about the pressure of this situation where you are that therapist, and the next words that come out of your mouth could be the difference between this man going and living a healthy life or taking it from himself, right? And whoever this therapist was, God bless her soul, because the next words that came out of her mouth were pure genius. She said, "The goal is not to find happiness. The goal is to find purpose. Once you find and act out your purpose in life, happiness will be the byproduct." Literally just what I was making the point on earlier. And whenever I say this to somebody, I've known this story for a while. And whenever I tell it to people, they go, "Oh, dude, like Andrew, like, how do I find my purpose? Like, I don't know what my purpose is, bro. Like, this story's irrelevant to me. I don't know what it is." Well, it's just really hard to think that way because when you're thinking about the very end of what can be a very long road to self-discovery, there's a lot of people that don't find their purpose until they're like 40. Like, Colonel Sanders probably knew his purpose before KFC, but he didn't start it until he was like 60, I think it is. Like, you can go a lifetime without finding your purpose. It's really a trivial. It's not a trivial thing, but it's really just not something that you're born with, right? A lot of people, including myself, go through the first part of their life feeling purposeless, but it's not about finding your purpose right away. Finding your purpose starts by asking yourself this question: what am I curious about? Right? Because when you're curious about things, it can spark interest. And when you start doing research on the things that you're interested in, it can create a spark that turns into a burning flame of passion. And when you let that fire burn and you pursue your passion with so much persistence that you actually found a way to benefit people's lives with that passion, that's when it blossoms into a purpose. Write this down. Passion in service is purpose. Whatever your passion in life is, once you find a way for that to help people, that's when you do it. That's when you find your purpose. That's when you need to go after it and hold on to that with everything you've got. Because a lot of people, they find their purpose, they find the passion that is able to help people, and it's too hard and they stop and they just do what's comfortable. Because chasing your passion isn't really comfortable, bro. Like, you got to do a lot. You got to break through barriers every day. So I'm going to leave you with this one last thing. I heard this from a mentor once. When your purpose is strong, the price to pay becomes easy. Do not ever negotiate the price. Magnify the purpose. Don't ever sell yourself short when dealing with your purpose. You must find a way to make your fire burn brighter and make your purpose stronger. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you got some value out of my words tonight, because if you did, I want to say thank you for allowing my passion to serve you. And with that, I hope you have a happy and successful rest of your night. And I want to remind you to grab your umbrellas, because MI5 is taking 2023 by storm, baby. Let's go.
Andrew, that was on fire, man. Somebody better call the fire department after that. Everybody, I want to thank you guys so much for coming out tonight. We had a lot of viewers throughout the entire evening. Andrew, thank you so much for delivering those amazing words of wisdom on mindset. Lots of amazing gold nuggets. I've known Andrew, like I said earlier in the show, for about a year and a half now, and to just see the development and the consistent progress that this guy does on a weekly basis, on a monthly basis, has been truly amazing, and nothing short of amazing. He has the mindset at 21 that we all wish we had. And we just want to thank you so much, Andrew, for giving that fire speech this evening to all of our viewers. Hey, we have one more thing left. We're going to move on over to our after party, the MI5 after party, at our private Zoom link. How do you come to the MI5 after party? Well, if you are a member of our community. If you're not, here's how you can become one. Telegram link down below. You will be able to see the private Zoom link. So every week after the Mindset Mastery call, we are going to migrate over to a private Zoom, where our community members will get a chance live on our Zoom to interact with Andrew, ask Q&As. We're just going to all hang out, have a grand old time, vibe, get that frequency, that vibration going strong, hang out, have a grand old time, and just spread that positivity and spread that love. So you are welcome to join us if you're an MI5 member. If you are not an MI5 member and would like to become one, the Telegram link's down below. All you got to do is click it and fill out a submission form to be a part of our community. It is absolutely free, zero cost to you. We're just an amazing community of people hanging out, having fun, and making a change in the world, and making a difference, and making positive impacts on humanity. So with that, I want to thank everybody for coming out. If you are part of our community, we'll see you over on the private Zoom. We're going to head on over there now. And until next time, we'll see you later.